Shirley posted, here's the full 42 minutes of my crew and I exposing Minnesota fraud. This might be my most important work yet. We uncovered over 110 million in one day. Like it and share it around like wildfire. It's time to hold these corrupt politicians and fraudsters accountable. We all work way too hard and pay too much in taxes for this to be happening. The fraud must be stopped. And then he also says, thank you all for watching and sharing. It's important that this fraud is exposed. I tried my best to just show the facts and make it transparent for everyone to see. I've been getting thousands of messages from people who want to support my work. The most important thing is to follow me on X and YouTube. For those that would like to support financially, you can become a member on YouTube or accept donations via Venmo, Cash App, Nick Shirley 21. Fraud exposing will continue. No, I'm not suicidal. Yes, the donations will be used for security. He's gonna need it. Security for this video alone costs $3,600, so it is not cheap but necessary. Appreciate you all for watching and caring. Let us watch what our tax dollars are going to, especially so if you live in Minnesota. We've talked about the food scam. We've talked about the autism scam. We've talked about the medical scam. Somalians out here scamming everybody. They gotta go back.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going. What do you guys think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to happen.
Hold Governor Walz accountable for this.
What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on? There aren't any kids.
Answer the question. Are there children? There's no children inside this building.
Potentially the largest fraud scandal in U.S. history is taking place in Minnesota, as literally billions of dollars have been funneled through Somali-ran fraudulent businesses. So much fraud, it could actually almost replace the entire GDP of Somalia.
Yep.
These fraudsters have worked hand in hand with the Minnesota government as they enabled billions of dollars to be given to fraudulent businesses underneath welfare purposes. Some of this money eventually landed in the hands of terrorist groups in Somalia like the Al-Shabaab and others enriched.
And I'm pretty sure, let me Google it just to make sure, taxpayer fraud conviction tied to alleged lavish lifestyle. Until judges like this woman are forcefully removed from the bench and no longer able to be a judge anywhere else in the country, we're not going to be able to fix anything. These are the people standing in our way of peacefully fixing the issues that we have. The more that people like her and people who pretend to be judges and are more activists continue to stand in the way of protecting criminals, protecting fraud, protecting foreigners looting our nation and bringing that money back to their nations, the worse things are going to get, and the less a peaceful ability to close things and fix things is going to be possible. And so we need to get rid of the activist judges post haste if we're going to do anything in a peaceful manner.
Themselves all at the U.S. taxpayers' expense, and in this video we will break down all of the fraud from start to finish, from going to the fraudulent businesses and confronting the people who are making millions of dollars from the government. And we will also be confronting the incompetent government leaders who let this fraud happen. And to make this happen, I met up with a man who's been doing his own investigation for years now, as he has seen the fraud firsthand. His name is David. Let's get into this and be prepared to be shocked. How deep is this fraud here inside of Minnesota?
I like his conspiracy boards all over the
far
wall.
Worse than anybody can imagine. You heard it's 7 to 10 billion and maybe more, and now the numbers have been revised and put out there publicly that they think it's more like 8 billion. How I got involved is...
You agree with the Blue Jew? Until everyone involved faces capital treason charges, it's not enough. I agree. There needs to be very harsh repercussions for everyone who enabled this. Everyone.
That where my office is here in Minneapolis, I'm sort of in the heart of all of this fraud, and I would see these child care centers. I said, well, there aren't any kids there. It's the middle of the day, and all I see are a couple of guys standing out front smoking. And then I'd go by another daycare and I'd see the same thing. I said, well, where do these kids play? And so I started to go online and look, and I said, this place is licensed for 80 children. They had 0 children.
Where
Every
the kids
time I
at?
went by there, they never had a single child there. Then I started to see all these transportation companies going around, and it was always a Somali driver. And I said, well, that's great. They're out there transportation, contributing, but they never had a passenger, never, ever once. And I said, well, what is all this transportation? What are they doing? So then I found out that in Minnesota, they have something called non-emergency medical transportation. So this is going to the dentist's office, therapy, whatever it might be. And I said, well, how many of these companies are there? And the research came back that there are 1,020 of them, and more than 800 of them are Somali owned.
Jesus
Nobody
fuck.
from the state of Minnesota ever cross-checks to see if any rides were ever actually provided. All they did was write the check.
So right here we have all this paperwork. And how are you getting all this information about the fraud?
A lot of it is through my own research. And then I have some contacts at the Capitol going back many, many years. And so the data that I'm getting is 100% accurate, coming directly from research done by people at the state Capitol.
All this paperwork right here, what are we looking at?
The areas of fraud.
Criminal negligence or intentional malice, it doesn't matter. I think it's definitely intentional malice. There's no way that Tim Walz didn't know this shit was going on. There's no way that other people in positions of power didn't know this shit is going on. There's no way Mr. Jacob Frey lets exploit tribal Somali warfare in order to solidify my win over an actual Somalian as the mayor of Minneapolis. Didn't know what was going on. Absolutely no way. And I would like to remind people, when we talked about the assassinations earlier this year, there was a politician lady and her husband who got murdered by some fucking freak-ass leftist who said he was sent by Tim Walz, and he had a bunch of, like, No Kings flyers in his car, and he shot at some other politician people first, and then he went and killed the other two politicians. She was the only Democrat to break ranks and vote against giving more healthcare benefits to illegals. She was the only one to break ranks and vote against that.
I know that people will be hurt by that vote, and we worked very hard to try to get a budget deal that wouldn't include that provision.
Yeah, Melissa Hortman, when we covered that, and when I was talking about what happened with her getting killed earlier this year, I was like, damn, that's really weird that people are trying to say that this has to be some kind of like right-wing guy going and doing this, when it makes much more sense that it was a leftist, before we found out that he decisively was, because she broke ranks and voted against giving healthcare to illegals. I was like, I don't know, man. You don't even really need a tinfoil hat for that one, I don't think. She was the Speaker of the Minnesota House of Representatives. Thank you. I'm glad that you guys can remember extra context that my brain fucking forgets. That was memory hold by the mainstream media as soon as the assassin had the No Kings flyer in his car. And also when he confessed he was sent to do the job by Tim Walz. Very suspicious. When he first came out and said that he was sent to do it by Tim Walz, I was like, this is just schizophrenia, right? Obviously, Tim Walz isn't hiring people to go and assassinate other Democrat politicians that vote against the status quo. But now that we know how much fraud has gone on under Tim Walz's nose, probably with him knowing that it's going on, and a lot of it is to do with either people fraudulently here from a visa system that they've taken advantage of, or people here illegally, maybe that guy wasn't as schizophrenic as previously thought.
That I have numbers for are mostly related to childcare. This is massive fraud that is beyond anyone's imagination, the scope. And so, for example, there's a childcare not far from here in Minneapolis that has two childcares listed.
It was a right-wing guy, though? You're a fucking retard. The only connection he had to Walz was Walz keeping him on some bureaucratic bullshit staff after taking office. He was literally a staffer for Tim Walz. He was a registered Democrat as a staffer for Tim Walz. He had No Kings flyers in his car. There is nothing that links him to being right-wing anything. Please, I beg of you, use the one brain cell that we share collectively. If Walz did send him, why the fuck would he be so vocal about the fact that Walz sent him? Because he knows he's fucked. He knows he's fucked. I'm not saying Walz did send him. Because when this first happened, I did call him a schizophrenic for saying that. I was like, there's no way anyone believes that Walz actually sent this guy. Zero fucking chance. Now, I don't know. I'm kind of unfoiling some tinfoil and I'm putting it on the side of my head. After we know all about this fraud that Tim Walz, there's no way he doesn't know that this was happening. There's no way he doesn't know. Why would a right-wing guy attack one of their own? Why would a right-wing guy... Melissa Hortman was a Democrat. It wasn't a right-wing lady. She was a Democrat. but she voted against her party's line, and she voted to not give healthcare benefits to illegal immigrants. So it's less, why would a right-wing guy attack one of their own, and why would a right-wing guy attack someone literally doing what the right wing wants?
The same address, and together they're licensed supposedly for 120 children. I have never seen a single child there ever, and I've been by that place at least 100 times.
These Somalians, these groups are setting up these daycares, these childcare centers, getting money from the government, but there's no kids.
No kids.
No kids?
Never had any of them. They're all fraught with violations.
So all the places that are supposed to be taking care of kids have no kids, and then the autism kids are actually just normal Somalian kids, but no one's going to call them out for not being autistic.
Even though they have these violations, they're still in operation and they're still getting money. And it's millions of dollars for every one of them every year.
And who's getting the money? And where are they getting the money from?
So we have a thing called CCAP. It's a blend of federal and state money. The bottom line is it's taxpayer money, so it's state money and it's federal money. And the problem is the people at the state of Minnesota are the ones writing the checks. This is kind of the maddening thing is you have daycare, so you have adult daycare, and then you have child care, and then you have health care. And a lot of these same names keep coming up on all of these different types of businesses. And then, of course, we have the transportation. A lot of those same names appear, a lot of the same addresses. There's one building.
You know what's interesting? Hold on, let me rewind just a couple seconds to have those back on the screen. Didn't we read like a tweet or something recently, or part of an article? I can't remember where it was from, where someone was like, well, if we send all of the illegals back home, well, who's going to be, staffing as nurses or for daycares or for, who's going to be taking care of your grandparents at the adult homes? And it's like, what? And I distinctly remember being like, wait a minute, why would you want illegal immigrants working in any of those fields? What the fuck do you mean? And that's interesting that whether that was an article or tweet that we read, that they kind of line up. That's interesting.
A lot of those same names appear, a lot of the same addresses. There's one building that has 14
wasn't that Ozzy's fat
Somali
daughter? It might
healthcare
have been.
companies at the same address. There's another building in St. Paul that has 22 Somali healthcare businesses at the same address.
How? What the fuck?
And the government knows about this.
The government knows they're writing the checks.
Yeah, I was gonna say they have to.
Yeah, the Democrats over there writing the checks. What has happened is that the Somali community is a very closed community. They will not speak to anyone outside the community and talk about what's going on within the community. They vote as a block. And so when you're a politician, you're saying, look, I've got 100,000 people in Minnesota that if I do something for the community, they're going to vote for me. And that's what it's all about, is getting the votes. And then the people here in Minnesota, you hear this term, Minnesota nice. I'm so sick of that term. The people here are so afraid of being called a racist or an Islamophobe. And they're afraid of their own shadow. And I don't understand. This is our future generations are going to have.
I mean, that was the whole point of people saying Minnesota nice, right? It's like the nice way of saying incredibly fucking gullible. And the people that aren't gullible are, like he said, just terrified of speaking out, because if you do, the people who have the power to are going to try and destroy your life. They're going to try to get you fired from your job. They're going to try to get your kids kicked out of their schools. They're going to try to do everything they can to ruin your life. So speaking out is a terrifying prospect. And so most people won't until something like this happens, until someone like Nick goes out and gets as many eyes as he possibly can on a story like this.
Have to pay for all this fraud, and they just want to bury their heads in the sand and go on and just not worry about it. Tim Walz saying there's organized crime in Minnesota. What did he do about it?
Nothing.
You got organized crime? What are you doing?
Raid. What the hell is
this? Is the Minnesota law, which mandates that anyone who knows of fraud and is a state employee must report that fraud. It's Minnesota Statute 3.971, Subdivision 9. Not only that, but Walz is also guilty of misconduct of a public employee. When I look at the world as a whole and I look at fraud, the Twin Cities is ground zero. The fraud is worse here than anywhere else ever in history. Anywhere.
We're going to go.
He says that, but I have a feeling that fraud is way worse in other areas. Like Minnesota's just the first that we've uncovered, and then Maine came slowly after, and there's a lot of fucking fraud in Maine as well. And I have a feeling I have a feeling someplace like California or New York or Massachusetts will make Minnesota look like pennies in comparison.
Run these people. We're going to go to these daycare centers. We're going to see what's actually happening.
Okay, so we have to be careful because these people are very violent. They're exceptionally violent.
Now, with all of David's evidence, we headed out to the streets of Minneapolis to see how much fraud
Exceptionally violent? Like wanting to kill a politician that would be trying to take away your benefits? Maybe?
we could uncover in one afternoon.
Where are we going now?
We're going to a place called Mako Child Care, which actually has another child care registered at the same address called Mini Child Care Center.
So we should see lots of children if there's this child care center, especially if there's two.
The two of them combined are licensed for 120.
And how much money have these child care centers received?
None of those vans have moved in 6 months. None of them. In 2020, one of them received $1.3 million. In 2021, they got $987,000. In 2022, they got $714,000. That's the last I have for that one. And then the other one, $1.604 million in fiscal year 2025.
That's 1.6 billion.
Fiscal year 2024.
Oh no, that's a dot.
They got
1.6 million.
about 800,000, and in fiscal year 2023, they got $904,059. This place right here. Yes.
We're outside of it.
Well, this is actually two daycares are registered here. One of them is Mako, which you see on this
Two
sign.
at the same
The other one
address.
is Mini Child Care Center. And between the two of these child care centers, they're pulling in about $3 million a year. And there are no children. Every facility as you go to, the windows will be blocked
The
out.
children are just invisible. That's true. They're differently abled children, and we're being racist bigots to the invisible children, clearly enjoying their time here. You would like to stop paying taxes until such time that your taxes aren't just handed over to shell companies for a handshake and a promise? Yeah, like I genuinely wish there was some way I could stop paying taxes, at least for an interim time, because this is absurd. And I pay way too fucking much in taxes to be seeing this kind of shit happening. I don't live in Minnesota, but there's no way that there weren't any kind of federal funds, especially when it comes to Medicare fraud, going towards this.
So you can't see in. There's nobody here. You won't see a single child at any of these facilities.
New Hampshire
There are
floating, getting
indeed
rid of its property tax.
No windows.
I need everyone who exists in my chat in New Hampshire to vote in favor of getting rid of New Hampshire's government department for refugee resettlement. That doesn't need to exist. It shouldn't exist. Get rid of it. It's going to happen next year. It's going to be a bill for next year.
All the windows are blacked out right here. All right, let's go in.
Why would the windows be blacked out on a daycare?
And the child care center is locked. Should we ring the doorbell? Try to get in, rang the doorbell. Nobody showed up. They're open 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. it says here on their sign, yet there's absolutely nobody here.
Why would there
And
be a
this
child
building
care
here
center
right
open
here
till
has
10
generated
p.m.?
millions of dollars, and it seems like business isn't even open right now, and it's a weekday. And if this was a daycare center, it wouldn't just be in some industrialized building. There would be maybe like a playground or something outside, or...
Why do you think the windows are blacked out? I mean, the windows are obviously blacked out because it's a fraudulent business that doesn't exist and isn't real. It's the same reason why it's locked in the middle of a weekday when it should be open. But that should ring alarm bells to the average person walking by, right? When you see a daycare center, their windows shouldn't be blacked out. So the fact that they are should have ring alarm bells for a lot of people.
Play area for the kids. So where are the kids? Where's anybody? How can there be nobody here? And it's like this every single day. I've never seen a single child here. In 9 years, I've never seen a single
9
child
fucking
at this
years,
building.
dude.
Right there.
Oh, then now it looks like we already got the Somalis coming through.
Yeah, they're coming. The word's out.
Hello, is this your daycare?
No. Can you tell us why there are no children? Have you ever seen children at this child care center?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Doesn't know if she's ever seen a child here. All right, let's go to the next location.
And the fraud only gets more from here. Make sure you stay till the very end of this video to see exactly how much fraud we find by the time we are done. And before we go to the next location, I want to show you something super interesting about the flags of Minnesota.
And here in Minnesota, if you take a look at the Minnesota state flag, they recently changed it, and it very much so resembles
The
the flag
Somalian
of
flag.
Somalia.
And when people pointed this out on Twitter, the discourse shifted and leftists were like, actually, the Minnesota flag has a star with many points and the Somalian flag only has a star with 5 points. This is why communication is impossible in current year, man. This is why it's impossible. Like, you can't tell me that changing the flag to this wasn't a purposeful design. They should 10 million% to get the fuck back in the old flag the second anyone with sense is in. Yeah? And I'm sure there's someone somewhere who's compared this to like, well, then if you're gonna say that the Minnesota flag resembles the Somalian flag, then you're gonna have to admit that Trump using an eagle is just like the Nazi eagle. And it's like, he's not doing Nazi things. The Somalians in Minnesota are doing Somalian things. What? The equivalence is not there.
Now let's get back into the video. Now we're going to the next daycare center. How much money has this one generated?
This one, in fiscal year 2025, $1,042,059.
Jesus fuck.
In fiscal year 2024, $1,059,078. And in fiscal year 2023, $727,336.
Can I ask, even if this was a legit place licensed for 40 children, why would you need $1 million for 40 children? Like, are you taking those children on like all expenses paid trips to France or some shit? Like, what is happening?
This next one is literally 1 block away, and this one's also generated nearly $3 million in the past 3 years. Let's see if there's any children. Let's see if any of the buildings are open. Here we go. All right, we've arrived to ABC Learning Center. All the windows are blacked out. Let's see if anybody is here. This door is locked.
This facility is licensed for 40 children. 0 children. I've come by this place 100 times. I've never seen a child here, ever. The only thing I've ever seen is someone standing outside smoking.
What's crazy about this is that last daycare center is that green building right there. And the other daycare center right now is right here. These buildings
I'm getting mattress firm vibes. There's never any reason why there should be like 5 mattress firms within walking distance of each other. And so having like multiple different daycare facilities right next to each other like this raises the red flags as well.
Be operating as they're receiving literally millions of dollars.
I knocked on the door, and to my surprise, somebody actually answered the door.
Hello? Can we speak? I would like to check a child in the daycare.
Why?
Can I speak to a manager?
What do you mean, why?
Where can I get paperwork to file for my son? I wanted to put my son Joey in daycare.
And after a few questions, the lady went silent.
Looks like little Joey Shirley ain't going to daycare here.
Oh,
and now where are we
little
going?
Joey.
Now we're going to Sweet Angel Child Care.
We're in the middle of a strip mall here inside of this neighborhood.
In fiscal year 2025, this facility, which says it's licensed for 74 kids, was paid $1.26 million in tax money.
That's insane.
And there are no kids, and all the facilities are the same way, all of them.
Let's see if anyone opens.
Yeah, let's see.
Once again, I tried to find a spot for my son Joey, and they would not open the door.
Little Joey needs daycare.
I want to put my son Joey in daycare. Because I need a spot to put my son Joey.
Why are all of these daycares asking him why he wants to put his son in daycare? That's actual insanity. It's like they just expect everyone to know that they're frauds, so they're just like, why are you asking about daycare, dumb white guy?
Yes.
Is this your daycare center?
No, I work there. What's happened?
I just want to put a child in daycare, but all the daycare centers seem to be closed. No one's opening the doors.
You work here?
I was, yeah. What's happened?
Where are the kids?
Yeah?
It says it's licensed for 74 children. Right here, state of Minnesota. Where are the kids? They got paid $1.26 million in fiscal year 2025. It says
this guy, the old guy's going too hard on him. All right. When you deal with these people, you have to let them hang themselves. That is my preferred style of interrogation as well. You have to ask them very easy questions that should have a very easy answer instead of assaulting them with facts. Because the faster and the more facts that you give them, the more they're going to close up and the less they're going to incriminate themselves.
Have a capacity for 74 children.
He's pissed? Oh no, I understand why he's doing that.
Right here. State of Minnesota website. You work here and you don't know?
I don't know. I was there before. I don't know what's going on.
Were there any kids when you worked here?
He's there. Kids there. What's
How
up?
many?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah.
You worked here. Okay, well, then you're not of any help.
Can I put my son in a daycare here?
No, I don't know.
Can I speak to someone?
No, I don't know.
No? Yeah, I would like to see if I can put my son Joey here.
Who's your son, Joey?
My son Joey. Can I check out daycare center?
No! He's a liar. I'm the owner.
Do you put your kid here in this daycare?
No.
There is one child in there. Yeah, I'd like to know if this is a legit business.
Me, I'm scared of you too. How come I explain everything?
You're
Wait. I hate the victim mentality. He's asking very normal questions in a very calm tone because he wants to put a child in daycare. And this woman is like, I'm very scared of you. Why you ask so many questions? And it's like, because people are so terrified of being called racist is why this has been able to go on as long as it has. It's absolutely disgusting. And I'm glad that people like Nick are here to do what needs to be done to show people the depths of what's going on.
scared of me?
Yeah.
Why?
Because of your curry.
Because of my color. You said you're scared of me because of my
That's
color.
racist.
Does that make you a racist?
Yeah, no.
But
No.
you said
No,
you're,
that's true. It doesn't make her a racist because you can't be racist against whites. They're not even actually people if you think about it, so it's completely fine, actually. Ollie Wally, thank you. Dark Windows. I don't see the cousin segs inside. What the fuck?
You said you're scared of me because of my color.
I'm not saying you're racist.
You said you're scared of me because of my color. That makes you a racist. So right now,
This is my
they're all
tax
getting
money.
mad because he's showing the paperwork.
Their
on
talking points aren't working. She was probably told, yeah, if you want a white person to go away, just imply that they're racist and that you're scared of them and they'll stop talking because they hate it when you call them a racist. And he's just like, well, no, that makes you a racist. And her programming just stops and she doesn't know how to respond.
business being registered as a business. 74 children, no children. We saw one child.
I'm scared of you because of your color would land any white person in. Yeah, imagine if like there was a white person around there being talked to by these ladies and they were like, I'm scared of you because of your color. They would have probably fucking been lampooned all over Twitter. That's crazy. Somali has stopped responding. Phoenix DS, thank you. Not gonna lie, it's so very hard not to glow with what's going on in the video. You just hate blatant criminals. Same. I'm not going to hold my breath because we haven't seen politicians held to account for much at all. But I very much hope we can see some actual repercussions for people who allowed this to happen. I've always thought that, like, if you have people committing this level of fraud, you're never going to get that money back. Even if you garnish their wages for fucking ever, you're never going to get that amount of money back. But there's got to be some way to try and reclaim some of the money. And every single person involved, if they're a natural born American, they need to go to prison and they need to have garnished wages for the rest of their life. If they're not an American citizen, if they're not a natural born American, if they came here either illegally or legally, they need to be deported and never allowed back.
They opened up the door. So now they're all getting mad.
She's even trying to now. What is this?
1.26 million.
My culture is not your costume, lady.
Any kids?
Ask the owner and the kids.
Well, then why are you talking for the
not my
owner
proof.
if you're
That's
telling me
not
to
my
talk
proof.
to the owner?
I'm sorry. I'm not understand what you're talking about.
Do you have a child here?
No.
Does anybody?
No.
Where are the 74 kids? Did you lose them? Did you lose these kids? Do I need to call someone? Do I need to issue an Amber Alert for missing children? Are these children missing?
Look, there's a child. It even says just
It's not
black
my
on his
business
shirt.
that children are missing. 74 infants and toddlers, preschool.
The proof's right there. There's no children anywhere.
It's from the state of Minnesota right here.
What did she just call him?
All right. I think we're moving on to the next location. Have a good day.
Yeah, they started
As we
screaming in Star
continue to
Wars.
show
You
the
can't have a
blatant
conversation
fraud
with
that was
that.
taking place here in Minnesota, Somali started following us around the city.
And now we're being followed by the Somalis. This is another daycare center. Absolutely no.
Was it the same guy, chat? Or was it some other guy? We watched a video like this recently where someone else was walking around asking Somali stuff and they started being followed around by Somali. Was it Tyler Oliveira? Okay. Because I was going to say, we watched something else like this and they also started being followed around and then they started being followed around by people with weapons. So there's very clearly some kind of, they got the call, they know what's happening kind of like bullshit going on here.
Signage, and there's no footprints in the snow of children playing outside. $5 million within the past
5.9 million in 2 years. 5.9 million they received in 2 years.
Insane.
That facility right there.
And now we have a group of Somalis telling us in our vehicle right now.
From this daycare center, we headed over to the infamous Quality Learning Center.
Actually, it's the Quality Leering Center, where instead of learning, you learn how to leer, I guess. Very, very quality leering, by the way. I'll send my Pokemon there post-haste.
Which actually spells Quality Leering Center on the outside of their sign. That's how blatant this fraud is here at this daycare.
Don't open up!
So this is Quality.
The enforcer literally comes out and tells them not to open the door. This is wild. If I had gone into watching this and I knew nothing about what was going on, I would assume this was a third world country. I would not assume this is anywhere in the United States. Penitent Lizard, thank you. Didn't the Shiloh Hendricks thing happen in Minnesota? It was a Somali who videoed her, claiming that the kid was younger than he really was. Not only was it a Somali who videoed her, it was a Somali who was previously arrested for statutory rape and then released because there wasn't enough evidence to charge him. And then they also claimed that the child she called the N-word, who was also Somali, was autistic and younger than he actually was. So I can't wait until her day in court. That shouldn't happen, by the way. She shouldn't have gotten in trouble for that. Don't call kids the N-word. However, I understand where we are right now. I have eyeballs, so I know why she did it. But it's just like, I can't wait for that day in court so we can find out exactly how much was lied about there as well.
Leering Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
Don't open up!
They said
This dumb
they
bitch.
spelt learning wrong.
Don't open up!
How do you have
It's a dumb fucking white Karen! What is wrong with you? What is wrong with people like this that just want hordes of foreigners to defraud them? This isn't even some like you're being racist claim. This is literally they are committing fraud. They are stealing your money, you dumb white bitch. What the fuck is happening? There is a point. There is a point where you just get so tired, you're like, maybe we should repeal the 19th. Maybe people like her shouldn't have a say in anything. What the fuck are we doing here? What the actual fuck are we doing here? I'm so angry. I'm so fucking mad. Look at her behavior. She's clearly messed up in the head. I don't even know what she thinks she's doing. Why protect criminals like this? Why protect criminals? Why do this? I bet she's like some fucking childless freak, too. Goremail, thank you. Listening to this on your phone, you thought I was watching Avatar and then realized it's a Somalian talking. Oh my god. She wants the criminality to persist, simple as. It's like these people never learned fucking cause and effect. I don't understand. Maybe she works for Walz. Women have been infantilized to the point of being unbaptized by consequence. Fair. She's a lookout. She's probably getting her cut of the fraud money. That's a good point. She could be one of the lookouts. She could be getting a cut of the fraud money. We need to find this woman and have her interrogated. When is Trump just gonna flood this fucking area with ice? Holy shit. I'm so tired. She's the one who filed the papers. She's getting a cut. Wait, how do you know that?
Here, ma'am. I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up!
Ma'am, what do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Don't open up! We have ice!
And what do you think?
That's not ice! It's a YouTuber! What the fuck is this woman? I hate people like this. I hate people like this who either have no idea what's going on and just want to act like entitled retards, or they do know what's going on and they're complicit with it and they want to sell out the rest of their country in order to enrich foreign nations for some reason. Like, you live here. Why would you want to do that? It makes your life objectively worse.
Think about this place being licensed for 99 children.
Don't open up!
And getting $4 million over the
Open up! It's ice!
$4 million in the last 2 years.
Somali fraudsters got 99 problems, but a child ain't one.
Go away!
What do you think about that? Are you in
Go
favor?
away!
Are you in favor of that?
Go away!
You know
You're
what
not welcome here.
Are you-
Shame on you.
Are you in favor
No,
of
shame on you, you dumb fucking
$1.9
whore.
million going illegally,
Don't open up!
fraudulently to this business that has Quality Learning Center but can't even spell learning right on the door?
Don't open up!
Ma'am,
Like,
we are not.
like genuinely, if she's not getting a cut of the fraud money, what the fuck does she think she's doing? What part of this makes her a good person? I genuinely would like to know what is going on in her absolutely cat piss riddled brain right now. Like, I am getting so fucking heated. Matt Larson, thank you. Come back from working on your car to your state mention again. Must be a day ending in Y.
Ice.
I don't care who you are, you don't belong here.
I belong here just like you belong here.
Don't open up, it's ice!
You do realize that there's supposed to be 99 children in here at this building, but there's no one here. This is a child daycare center.
99 children. Paid $1.9 million.
She's just gonna scream, "Don't open up" again.
Funding. Do you know where the children are? Were they kidnapped? They run away? Where are the children? This is state of Minnesota.
Why does she have 7 trillion keys around her neck? What is this? Maybe whoever in chat said that she's complicit with this was right. That's really suspicious. That's really suspicious. She don't care she's in on it. Yeah, I'm starting to believe. The tinfoil is just magically wrapping itself around my head right now.
Right here.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley, ma'am.
And who are you with?
Nick Shirley.
YouTube.
Nick Shirley on YouTube.
Yeah, so who are you with here?
Oh, he's just been doing some
He's just
research
some guy.
investigating the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm with Nick Shirley.
This lady, she's calling us ICE. We're just trying to put law and order back in the streets of the United States. Get rid of all the fraud. Have you ever seen children at that daycare center right there?
Where?
Yeah, it's right there. It says the child, you've never seen daycare.
I haven't seen anybody in there.
We're gonna educate you on something. So what do you think about this daycare center? They spelled learning wrong. They've received over $1.9 million this year alone, and they're supposed to have 99 children here.
I don't see it.
Have you ever seen any children here?
None at all. None.
This year they got.
She does understand they're also recording. Again, I can't assert that she is complicit with the fraud because I don't know. I'm definitely tinfoiling about it though, especially after seeing those fucking keys. But if she's not complicit in the fraud, it doesn't matter to her that she's being recorded because her screaming to not open up and her protecting the criminals committing fraud, in her mind, that makes her a good person. Because remember, these are the people who believe if you call the cops, a minority might get murdered. If someone investigates wrongdoing, it might lead to a loss of minority life. That is what they believe. So even if she's being recorded, she genuinely believes she is acting in the best interest of some poor, underserved people. Howlin' Madpaw, thank you for the 18 months of Proom. Thank you. Who cares if she's in on it or not? She should get punished regardless. Oh, I agree. But the level of punishment rendered to that woman should increase if she's complicit with it, you know?
1.9 million. Last year they got 1.5 million of your tax money for 99 children. We just want to know, where are the kids?
Right.
Where are the children?
I don't see them. I've been here since 2017. I haven't seen anybody like
Never
that here.
seen a child here.
No, not at all.
And so you've
8
never
years.
seen a child here for 8 years?
Nope, not at all.
And how does that make you feel knowing that this place is receiving $1.9 million?
It's disgusting. I mean, what the hell? They stealing the money. That's a federal grant, too. That's, if they get caught for that's a federal offense. I know, I studied law.
And do you think Tim Walz should go to jail for all the fraud that he's
I like that
enabled here in his
lamppost behind
state?
That's him doing this? Well, heck yeah. He's got to be held accountable for this. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason what's going on here. It's simple. It's nothing there. It's a parking lot.
And look, they even spelled learning wrong on
That's
their
kind
sign.
of wild
for a
how
place that's
little
supposed to
he knows
be
what's going on.
educating
I guess that's what a
children.
normie's life is like, though.
That's crazy. Well, I mean, who runs it? Who supposedly runs it?
Somalians.
Oh my God.
Average guy just working, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I've never seen nobody here at all.
So how long have you been living here?
Since 2017, 2018.
You've never seen a single child walk in that building?
No.
Normal people out here
So
trying
this
to survive.
big daycare center is literally just a place
I'm not chastising him. I'm just saying, like, it's wild to me because like I read new stuff every day, even when I'm not on stream, right? So it's just wild to me to encounter, like, you know, just average everyday normie and realize how little they know about what's going on. Right? I'm not like chastising him because like they got shit to do, right? It's just kind of astounding to me sometimes because like these people mostly, I don't know about this guy, they do vote, right? And you when you realize that the majority of voters are uninformed voters, shit gets real scary.
Traffic, money, $1.9 million just this year alone. And this guy's been living here for 8 years.
and has never seen a single child walk through those doors. There's no windows either.
No.
And the only window they do have, the door, is blacked out.
Yep, I see that.
That's very weird.
I've never seen anybody go in there.
Within just a few hours, we nearly approached $20 million in fraud, and we headed over to George Floyd's neighborhood to expose more of the fraud taking place.
This place is called Future Leaders Early Learning Center.
Future Leaders
it's
Early
licensed
Learning
for
Center in George
90
Floyd neighborhood,
children.
man.
And in fiscal year 2025, they received $3.6 million.
Jesus Christ.
In fiscal year 2024, they received $3 million. So in 2 years, they got $6.67 million, claiming they have 90 children every day of the week, 5 days a week. So let's
these
find
people
out.
are making just about more money than NBA athletes.
Yeah.
And we don't even know if they're paying taxes, but
Why have to work? They're not paying taxes. If they're defrauding government tax dollars, why the fuck would they pay taxes? But also, of course they're making more money than the sports ball people. Why would they give up easy free money for literally doing nothing? Especially, look how much effort it takes to get anything done about the fraud. Look at how many months we've been talking about the fraud in Minnesota. Look at how few people have glommed on to talking about the Somalian fraud going on in Maine. Look at how many people have had to come out and say things. Look at how many times Elon Musk, with his reach, has tweeted out or retweeted things about Minnesota fraud. These people believe they're untouchable because they essentially have been. There is no incentive and no reason to stop the fraud if it takes so much effort to even get anyone looking at it. And when you start looking at it and you actually start trying to get convictions on the people doing it, the judges just throw that shit out anyway. Why would any of the fraud stop if nothing is actually getting done? And that's why this kind of shit is infuriating. And I'm not like upset. Again, I love what Nick is doing. It's very important. He should be doing this. I'm glad he's doing this. It's just insane the level of effort from so many people that it takes to get anything to happen. And then when something finally does, the judges just go, oopsie poopsie, well, we're just gonna let them go back to doing it anyways. Fuck you, Americans. Until these judges are removed, we cannot fix what is going on. If we want to fix any of the fraud going on in Minnesota, in Maine, I have tabs on the fraud in fucking California too. If we want to fix any of this shit, the judges need to be removed. 100%.
we don't know where this money is going. Is it going to terrorism? Where is it going? But it's theft, it's fraud, and the reason I'm involved is I want it to stop.
Yes.
I care about Minnesota.
Yes.
I'm doing this for the people.
The problem is that all the people highlighting and talking about it have been successfully stereotyped as far-right extremists by the mainstream media. 95% of normies get all their info from them. Even intelligent people, in their 40s and 50s just go, oh, if Elon said it, he must be lying. He lies about everything. The BBC told me so. If you bring this kind of thing up to them, that's crazy. I saw a tweet earlier and I didn't bookmark it because it made me too angry. And I was like, I can't deal with even more angry. But it was someone who was like, I'm tired of all of these people retweeting Nick Shirley's video. And it's like, they don't even care. I live in Minnesota. I care about Minnesota. Why are they talking about it? Why are they sharing it? I hate these kind of grifters. And it's like, shut the fuck up, you dumb woman bitch. I can't even remember what color she was, so I couldn't call her a white bitch. But it's like, I don't care if someone is grifting because they're sharing his video. I don't care. Anyone sharing this video, regardless of the reason, I'm happy with that, because the more people that share it, regardless of their reasons, the more people are going to see this. And the more people that see this, the more chance of something getting done. And again, hopefully, JD Vance has retweeted this. Hopefully we can start seeing some judges get fucking removed and start facing criminal penalties. Once again, I'm glad that judges can face civil penalties for being shit cunts on the bench, but we need actual criminal penalties for these activists masquerading as fucking judges.
People of Minnesota, I don't make a dime off all this time I've spent on this. I put my life at risk several times, but I'm determined to see this through and to correct what is wrong, what is evil.
Here at Future Leaders Early Learning Center, this building received over $3 million.
Jesus.
Hello, how are you? I would like to see if I could bring little Joey, my son little Joey here. Is there a paperwork or can I check out the daycare? No.
What do you mean no?
Why can't I check out the daycare?
Military's not here.
Okay, but if I can't get paperwork or anything to submit my son
Do you think there's someone that teaches them specific phrases to say for if someone happens to come to the daycare trying to check in an actual child? They're like NPCs that just repeat stock lines because they don't know how to say anything else.
Joey to come in here to daycare? We'd really like to put Joey in this daycare. We've heard great things.
Business card?
No, I would like your business card actually.
You talk to your manager.
Bitch is so confused. Her eyes are in different fucking zip codes, dude. She's like, nobody's come here asking about daycare before.
Okay, can I speak with somebody? Where are the children at? Are there children here today?
No.
No children?
Yeah.
Why are there no children?
Yeah, two of Mexico.
Would my son little Joey have friends to play with here?
No.
Why?
No. No friends for little Joey.
Yes. Sorry.
Ah, dang it. Well, have a great rest of your day.
What the fuck?
So, little Joey would not be accepted to that daycare.
Joey's still homeless.
Joey's still looking for daycare.
And because little Joey couldn't get into a daycare, we went to an autism center, as they have been popping up everywhere as a rise of autism has occurred here in Minnesota because of the government funds that they're receiving. I tried to check
Poor
my
little
son
Joey. He's
into an
gonna
autism
get the
center.
Brooklyn
We're going to a lot of these
Rage.
daycare centers. We're trying to find a spot for our little boy Joey, but we thought maybe we could check him into the autism center. Because none of the daycare centers are open. Yeah, and how many kids do you guys have at this autism center?
I can't give you a number now.
Bro wasn't even smart enough to think of a number off the top of his head. He could have just been like, yeah, 25? Oh, yeah, nobody got 25 kids, right? Holy shit.
More than 5?
Probably.
Probably, so you don't really know.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about like the fraud that's been labeled on the autism centers here? What do you guys do think about the fraud, or how come the autism centers are popping up?
I can't answer.
What news? Are you a news reporter?
My name's Nick. We're doing a little documentary trying to find little Joey.
Hey, that's an outside door in an inside place. Hey, where's the top of the door? What the fuck is going on here? Why is this door just fucking cut off? What the hell is even this? What the fuck? They do shit like this and then have the audacity to cry for reparations for past injustices? And he thinks if you actually look at the history, they'd be the ones paying a lot of reparations? Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. No, Foxy's cooking. What is up with that? Like, if it was at least a half door, right, it would make sense. Because I've seen plenty of half doors in administrative offices, but they only cut off the top part. What the fuck is even this? It's a child door, bigot.
Spot to put himself in one of these centers here, because there's...
So why are you asking us about
the fraud? Yeah, because we want to make sure we're going to legit business if we're going to bring our little boy Joey here.
This is not a Joey spot.
This we don't allow the Joey kind here. All right, we just don't like your color.
But that's our number on your other bill. But this is we can't let you guys use.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So once again, little Joey, he can't even go.
I got a question, chat. The tinfoil is materializing tighter and tighter as time goes on. They refuse to let people in the building. When he asks about daycare, they say no. The windows are blacked out. What are the odds that there's human trafficking going on here? And I'm not talking about, like, sexual human trafficking. I mean just, like, trafficking illegals in general. What are the odds that that's happening in these places, fraudulently taking advantage of taxpayer money already?
The daycare, and now
this is just like the mafia-owned pizza places. Actually, I take offense to that. I went to a pizza place all throughout middle school and high school and sometime in college that was clearly owned by Greeks who were part of some kind of mafia. They had the cocaine fingernails on their pinkies, and their sauce was addictive like crack, and they refused to give me the recipe for it. So at least they still sold me pizza, all right? At least they did their job.
Again, no kids. Couldn't tell you how many kids they serve.
After being able to provide no evidence of them actually being an autism center in a place where a child could go, they shut the door and we headed to the next fraudulent daycare center that was just around the corner.
That's crazy how close together all these places
trying to
are.
find little Joey a place to go to get some daycare.
So where we're going now is a place called Super Kids Daycare Center. Interestingly, this daycare center was shut down when it was called Creative Minds Daycare, and it had received $2.45 million this.
So it was a daycare center and that got shut down and then they renamed to a different daycare center and then just kept getting more money. How is Minnesota real? How is this a real fucking place, dude? Sly Maverick, thank you. Those mob-owned pizza places had the best slices. That's what I'm saying. Like, at least the mob-owned pizza places still sold you good tasting pizza. These places don't have any kids.
Fiscal year 2025, they had to shut down because there were so many violations, and they went and they just reopened under a new license, and they renamed the center Super Kids Daycare Center, LLC.
So they got shut down, then started another one.
Literally the next day.
Creative Minds Daycare, $2.45 million got sent to this daycare center. We have empty parking lot. We do have a bus here. This is different. We'll see if we see anybody.
I knocked on the door. Absolutely nobody was inside, and once again, no children could be heard anywhere.
So David, once again, another child daycare center. We have a bus out here. No one's inside. Licensed for over 50 kids. No children anywhere, but yet millions of dollars. Every single.
You agree the pizza place would sell you a pizza? It's outrageous that the daycare wouldn't sell you a child. Look, we're not trying to comet pizza in Minnesota, all right? That's not the angle that this is going to. Also, I just received a tweet that is incredibly angering. It's worth noting that my liberal dad's first instinct when shown this video was to criticize the journalist and suggest he was the one committing fraud. I'm sorry, Alex Feinberg, but your father is too dumb to be allowed to live. He needs the maid service from Canada. Post haste. That is fucking horrendous. Holy shit, what the fuck?
All year.
So the sign says Creative Minds Daycare. They got in so much trouble. They had so many violations that they had to shut down, and they reopened the next day under Super Kids Daycare Center. You see 3801 Portland. 3801 Portland, which is where we are.
How are they able to get away with this shit? But if I accidentally underpay my taxes by like $1,000, the IRS will come and shoot my cat? Like what the fuck are we doing here? I'm so mad.
So that's fraud right there alone.
Millions and millions of dollars, and again, the kids are missing. Where are the kids?
You'd think if they had the same address, that whoever's inside or working at the Capitol here inside of Minnesota would just say, oh.
Well, mildly OCD, thank you. You firmly believe that mob-ran food joints had a good food because they were actually incentivized to make their businesses look as legit as possible. What incentive do these people have to actually try to have a functional daycare? I mean, you're right, they don't. They're able to get away with shit that, like, no American citizen would be able to get away with. They're like, what is the incentive to try and obscure anything when just calling people racist works? If all you have to do is say, I don't like you because you're white, you're racist, and you just win, there's no incentive to put an effort into anything. And it makes all of us look like retarded rubes. I'm sick of it.
Oh, maybe that's a red flag.
They just write the check. Human Services, they got to clean out the whole bunch. They're the ones who enabled this fraud. How can you not look and say, wait a minute, these two are registered at the same address?
On top of all of the childcare centers, that's just only a small piece of the fraud. What other fraud are they committing here in Minnesota?
So another major piece of the fraud is the home health care industry. Where we're going now is a building that has 14 Somali-owned home health care companies in the same building.
14 of the same healthcare companies in one building.
14 home health care companies with different names in the same building.
How bad has Tim Walz managed the budget here inside of Minnesota?
So the last biennium, we had an $18 billion
This was why earlier I brought up the whole, like, that's incredibly suspicious. And then other people were like, well, Kirsche, there are some businesses that have multiple things inside the same. And I'm like, yes, I know, but that's not what we're talking about here.
Plus, this biennium, we have a $6 billion deficit. That's a $24 billion swing in one biennium.
That's insane.
How in the world can you burn through $24 billion in 2 years?
Because you're foreigners coming to loot a nation that you not only don't care about, but you actively fucking despise. That's fucking how. It's such a simple answer. We don't need to come up with crazy complex theories when it's just that simple.
This is how right here. This is a huge part of it.
And so would
Imagine
you say
Al
a lot of that
Capone
is
calling
fraud that's
everyone
taking place here in
racist?
Minnesota?
Absolutely.
He should have tried that. He would have been like, Italians are the black people of Europe. You're racist for trying to investigate us for mafia ties. Maybe it would have worked.
Would say better than 90% of it is absolute outright fraud.
And a large percentage of this fraud is from these healthcare companies that are charging the state millions of dollars while they actually aren't providing anything. In fact,
and the healthcare fraud stuff is what is happening in Maine as well. It's how that one guy funded his run for warlord of Jubaland, was defrauding the Maine Medicare system.
the FBI just did a raid a few days ago on a building similar to the one we are about to enter. Inside of this building, there were 14 of nearly the exact same businesses offering the exact same services.
Right here, you have a list of all of the healthcare companies.
One of these things is not like the other. Hold on, let me go back 1 second.
Right here, you have a list of all of the healthcare companies.
Can I just point out, it's really funny how this whole thing, like African Immigrant Community Services, First Daycare Center, G&H York Trading, Haran Law Office, Hashi Consulting, Helping Hands Home Care, Hiawatha Senior Center, they're really taking Native American names to try and hide their fraud. The audacity of these fucking people. But once you get past all of the fraudulent things here, Dollar General. Why the fuck is there a Dollar fucking General in here? What the fuck? Safari Center? We're on the safari right fucking now,
right
dude.
Here. We want healthcare. No, it's okay. Yes, we'd like to speak about getting healthcare here. No. Why can't I get healthcare here?
What do you mean no?
No, wait.
Warning, you are under video surveillance. No trespassing, security armed.
What the fuck?
This is the strangest place I've ever been to get healthcare. Just a bunch of different places.
I wonder what these places are actually for, right? Because obviously they're denying him entry because he's white. If it was a fellow Somali coming to the door, they would open the door and they would talk with the Somali. But I don't believe they're offering healthcare. So what kind of services are these places offering? Is it just like you go here and you get free money? Is that how the fraud is working? What are they doing? What other fraudulent activities are going on? Voss Boss, thank you. Not to blackpill, but Newsom has destroyed California and Walz is asleep at the wheel. And at least 1/3 of the country would still vote that ticket. Oh, I'm sure they would. I have no doubt.
Healthcare here, healthcare right here. Another healthcare company right here. There are 3 healthcare companies inside of this building right here in this room of 7C. Now we have another Helping Hands Home Care LLC, another healthcare company. Present Help right here. We're looking for the best rates of healthcare here inside this building because we have so many options. Who can we talk about getting the best healthcare?
I don't know. Look at those fucking tiles falling apart, dude.
All right. We will not get any healthcare here. David, this is one of the stranger places I've ever been.
That's got to be the security that he hired walking around behind him.
Literally.
The scratched out doors is scary. Oh, it absolutely is.
Yet nobody will give you a rate. How much money do you think's been funneled through this building?
Every year, I would say 50 to 60 million at least.
Christ.
And finally, we were accepted into one of the daycare centers and they actually took down our information to give us a rate. However, when we left, we were then met with the police.
We received a complaint that gentleman matching your description were in this building harassing the individual.
Imagine walking around while white. How absolutely dare he? If you're white, you need to just stay in your house 24/7. You're barely even human? Why go outside and harass these people by existing?
Stay here.
Oh, we're checking out the rates for healthcare. Because there's 14 healthcare companies inside this building, so.
Okay.
Well, that's not what he said, he said there's 14 companies here, and he's trying to assume because they're Somali providers that everyone here is fraudulent.
Because they're Somali that's not what he did at all. That's not what he did at all. What the fuck? The only people who have brought up race when he's been talking to people are the Somalis.
So he's here with some kind of like propaganda.
No, we're just checking.
No, this is a area that we're allowed to enforce trespassing ordinance. Is there any other reason that you guys are here?
Well, we were checking rates.
No, he's not.
We were checking rates. We asked for rates.
He was asking for rates. He was trying to get a good rate for healthcare. That's what he was asking for. And the police are protecting this shit. That's wild. I'm not surprised, but that's wild.
Okay. I'm gonna have, if you guys are all good, we're gonna step outside and we can continue this conversation.
All right, let's leave. So, all right, we're getting escorted out right now. The police have arrived. We were checking out the rates, seeing what was happening inside this building. No one would really speak with us. We did go inside the one daycare center, and she actually did give us rates for childcare. Much respect to that lady. What's the problem, officer?
Well, so again, we've been getting reports from multiple individuals that you guys were harassing individuals who work here.
It's really crazy how, because we've been built as a high trust nation, when people from the third world come in and they start defrauding our tax dollars and setting up fraudulent businesses and laundering that money either for themselves or for other people, the police will come in and use our high trust rules in order to protect the people who are criminals. And there's nothing that we can do about it because that is how our law has been set up. This is how we get taken advantage of, and this is why these people rightfully see us as retarded fucking idiots, because we are in this scenario. There's no way around it, and it's infuriating.
At the end of the day, this is private property, and it's one that people are allowed to ask you to leave, and it's also one the Minneapolis Police Department is allowed to enforce trespassing ordinance at this address.
Yeah.
So
as we got escorted out of this building, the Somalis filmed us as we left, and we headed over
Your question is, who taught the fraudsters in the first place? Their fraud covers so many industries. One of the fraud things when it came out and when we covered it before in the summer, it was like 70-something Somalis that were implicated into it, but the ringleader, like the lady that had started it all, was like some white lady. And whenever the news was reporting on it, they only published the picture of the white lady and none of the Somalis who were implicated with it. So I'd be willing to bet that there are plenty of other people like that white lady who were willing to teach these people how to defraud the government and how to get way more benefits than they're ever entitled to. And I mean, look at how smug they are, right? As Nick is being turned away by the police. And I can't even fault them. They are rightfully smug because our system protects them and the crime that they're doing. They're gloating. They're 100% gloating. And that's why it's infuriating. Because you can't even say it's wrongful gloating because they are being protected. And even when people try to bring consequences to these fraudsters, judges let them go. They have every reason to be as smug as they are.
The next building that had 22 of the same home health care providers operating from inside of the building.
Right here you have multicultural home care. And right here it says it's open, but can't even get in. Another Reliance Recovery Center. Mercy and Grace Care, Inc. Right here you have Den Eritrean Youth Development Association of Minnesota. Another child care center. Welcome to Bright Beginnings Center. But what do you guys think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Sorry. No comments. Can I please?
Right here you have Serenity Quality Care. All of these businesses are literally the same type of business providing the same service in the same building. Another Convenience Home Health Care, Aid, Inc. and Child-Friendly Space.
This is not the account you are looking for, thank you. Do I think the businesses go under due to the government subsidies not being renewed? No, because we saw that other company earlier where they got shut down for so many violations and then they just renamed themselves the next day and continued collecting benefits.
All these companies get money from the government. Why would you have the same company essentially inside of the same building, door to door? Right here, Queenly Home Health Care. It just does not make sense. If you're trying to operate a business, you'd want to have less competition. But here, they have all of their competition right next door. We're wondering, because we hear there's lots of fraud taking place here in Minnesota, and we're wondering, why is there so many of the same companies inside of this same building?
I love slaves!
the Parthenon. Slaves built America. Slaves, this is your song. Thank you. Slaves.
Do 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 do.
Thank you. Slaves.
Do 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 do.
Thank you. Slaves.
Do 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 do.
Slaves, this is your song.
Thank you, James Stern, for the 100 motherfucking slaves, brother man. Thank you. Thank you.
Unfortunately, most normies aren't intelligent enough to refute aristical arguments, those made just to confuse or to win, regardless of logical soundness, and as such, we'll just accept them. You don't see broad change happening unless we can win for 20 plus years straight. I have a tab for that. Hold on. I have a tab for that. Let's see. Can I find it really quickly? Because I have like a million tabs on Minnesota shit. Tim Walz stuff, lady running the scam. There's another Nick Shirley tweet that's, Donald Trump Jr. acknowledging this shit, that thing, another lady running scam thingy, Minneapolis mayor, Maine fraud, Ilhan Omar fraud, Peggy Flanagan, imagine being named Peggy after King of the Hill, man. This is California fraud, this is another California fraud, this is Keir Starmer being a bitch. Nope, I don't think it's that one. Wait, no it is. No it is. This guy, Ubzu, I don't know how to pronounce his name. The required takeaway from the genetic differences video is that your enemies do not use words the way that you do. They're not instruments for conveying meaning. They do not illuminate a mapping from mental concepts to physical reality. They are spells provided to them by wizards. The purpose of the spells is to make you do what they want. You may believe that you are having a conversation, but they know they are in a spell casting contest. And their ignorance of everything that is real provides them with absolute immunity to your spells. There are millions of spellcasters out there. I'm not on Twitter to talk to these people who cannot be reasoned with or bargained with any more than the TV can hear you. I'm here to find others who understand the situation for what it is. Words will never get us out of this. There's only one way we're ever going to take the country and the world back from spellcasters. Every day we spend casting our impotent spells at them is another day they further consolidate their power. And I don't know if we'll have time to watch this, but I wanted to play this video. And I think this is the couple that like reacted to stuff going on with me when I was getting canceled, because they look very familiar. They look very familiar. But back to the Somali fraud video.
No, I don't know that.
What do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
I don't have any idea about that fraud, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
What do you think about the news articles and what's being spread on the news about the fraud?
Right now, you are doing something wrong.
I'm just asking you
No, you
about
don't
the
have
fraud.
to ask me, okay? Don't ask me that question again.
Okay.
You're the one doing something wrong. How dare you ask questions? That's very dangerous, white boy.
Okay.
Who can I speak to?
Hmm?
Who can I speak to? Okay. As soon as you confront about the fraud, they get angry.
When these people have these home healthcare companies, you're seeing them everywhere inside this building. What kind of fraud are they committing?
So there's false documentation being submitted to the state of Minnesota for services never provided. They're having forms signed in advance for services that were then never rendered. As far as a year or 2 years in advance, they'll have someone sign these forms at one sitting, and then they just file those with the state of Minnesota, and nobody from the state of Minnesota bothers to check that those services were ever provided.
So they're essentially just using people, saying that they had these services provided months or even years ago, then filing the paperwork and then receiving money from the government.
Right, and the Somali community is a very closed community, so everybody's in on it, and they don't want to talk, as you can see.
And for this building, I'm going to give an estimate of around $30 million for how much fraud is taking place. That is a very low estimate. However, still a lot of money in fraud. And do you think there is fraud taking place here?
I don't know. Yeah.
Do you have any idea what any of these businesses are doing?
I never ask.
And now, with upwards of $100 million in fraud, we headed to one more daycare.
See,
and
what
this
needs
one
to happen is he needs to find one of the Somali people, because I know we watched a video of some Somali lady calling out some of the fraud as well. He needs to find one of the Somalians who's willing to call out the fraud. Because if they're only going to talk to their co-ethnics, the only way you're going to find out exactly what these businesses are doing is to have a Somalian go in there and talk to them and ask for like the services that they do provide. That's the only way you're going to find out and get like a real answer. A Lost Monster Man, thank you for the 2-month member, thank you. Shadow Forward Wizard Gags, we love casting fraud, true. B Jammin', thank you. You know, you thought Bandcamp was a very catty gay man trying to pull his bestie to the right. You didn't know they were married. I'm pretty sure they were a married couple. I hope I didn't get that wrong and they're like brother and sister or something, but I thought they were a married couple. You're smacking that camera out of his hand.
It's a little spicy as we get chased out at the very end.
They are a married
and
couple?
This,
Oh, thank God.
Heading to the state capitol to confront the incompetent government leaders who have enabled this fraud to happen.
And I knew this video was going to be super dangerous to film because of obviously how hostile it is and as we are exposing
and I hope he stays safe
happening.
as he continues to make these videos.
I did get security for this video and I was able to do it through the Black Line Guardian. And if you guys want to help fund my security in the future, you can go down to the link down below. They're not paying me to say any of this. They came and decided to help me out for this video. So you can go to Black Line Guardian, the link's down below, and click Guardian for Nick, and those funds will directly go to my security and future videos as we are exposing lots of things happening, especially with this fraud. Like I said, they're not sponsoring this video. I'm just giving them a shout out because of how they helped me. So go down to the link down below, click Guardian for Nick, and let's keep going. And now we're going to the next location.
Now, this child daycare center, this one's different than all the other ones we've been to. Tell us about this one.
This one is different because, according to the state of Minnesota, this 312 West Lake Street houses not 1, not 2, but 3 child care centers and is licensed to hold 102 children, and in fiscal year 2025 was paid $2.66 million by the state of Minnesota.
And this is the building right here.
So this building alone made $2.6 million. Let's see if anybody's inside. Now we're inside of the building where there's apparently 4 child care centers.
We met this lady and we followed her to the back of the building where the daycare was supposedly at.
So right here we have 2 child daycare centers. We have the Minnesota Child Care Center, and then we also have Nuna. Between the two, $2.66 million. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Why are you recording?
Yes.
Why are you recording? I'm YouTube.
Well, it says we're trying to figure out 102 children. Is that for this facility?
What is the name of the facility?
It's from the state of Minnesota website. It says you have 102 children here in your child care.
Which child care name is a lot of
Minnesota Child Care right here.
You say 142 and there's not a single one here? What the fuck? There's adult shoes in the hallway there, though.
It's from the state of Minnesota's website. We're just wondering where the children are.
102?
Where
okay.
the children are?
Yeah, where are the children? It says
Still
you have
a lot.
102 children here.
102.
And you got $2.66 million this year in funding. And $2.5 million last year. We're just wondering where the kids are.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley.
Nick Shirley.
And where are you? Which department? That is harassment.
Oh, we are from ourselves.
Asking question is harassment.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going. Look at that. Shut us down.
That's wild.
Where are the children at? No children inside of this daycare center?
They have learned very well, though. They have learned very well. That's harassment. You're racist. I'm scared of you because you're white. They know all the magic spells that just work.
And look at this daycare center right here. No children inside of this daycare center. But between those buildings, over $2.6 million. We are just curious, where are the children at? Do you know where the children are at? Where are the children at in these daycare centers?
I don't care.
What?
How come these child care centers have no children?
I don't know. No.
There's $2.6 million inside these businesses that were given by the government, but there's no children to be seen anywhere. People deserve to know where their taxes are going. If these companies and these daycare centers are making upwards of $2.6 million and there's no children to be seen anywhere, something fraudulent is happening. And that is not make you racist, Islamophobic.
Mm-hmm.
This is just the truth of what's happening here in Minnesota. If there's a bunch of white people doing the same thing, we'd be talking about the same issue.
Mm-hmm.
This is just fraud at unprecedented levels here inside Minnesota. It's actually very concerning. Where are the children at inside of these buildings? They're nowhere to be seen. Millions of dollars are being sent into these daycare centers all across Minnesota, and there's not a child to be seen anywhere. Here's another daycare center inside the same building.
Audit. It really is just like Star Wars.
Where is all the money going for if there's no children at these daycare centers?
Sir,
Yes.
I told you, please leave.
Yes, we have a question though. Where is the children at these daycare centers if there's millions of dollars?
That's true. That's true. The local government probably is aware of all of this fraud. So ask them.
Oh, we've asked. We have the paper here. So we're wondering where the money and where the children are at. We have the paper right here. Come here.
Who are you, first of all?
My name's Nick Shirley.
You don't have any permission to record me, period.
Can we talk outside?
You don't have permission to record.
She doesn't either have. She doesn't have permission to record me.
No, you cannot stop people on the street and question them.
We can ask.
You don't have
actually
any
can.
permission.
Where are the children?
I will sue you. You don't have any permission. We have nothing to do with this. You
Okay.
understand?
Then are there
So
children?
leave. Please leave.
Are there children
Single
here?
party consent goes burr. I hate two-party consent states, man. Jesus.
Please leave.
Where are the children? $2.6 million for a daycare center.
You ask whoever you think is doing that. You don't know what you're talking about. So leave. Leave.
Tell us what's happening here then.
I said leave.
We're wondering what's
We
happening.
are not a child care. We are nothing to do with it. We're common people.
Wait, if you're not in childcare, then why is your business a childcare business? What?
Walking, and
Yes.
you are.
We're not accusing you. We're asking where the children are at.
Don't ask me anything.
We're not
I'm
accusing
gonna
you.
answer.
We're asking the daycare centers.
I am not gonna answer. And you have.
Where are the children at?
Leave. Leave.
We just want to know where are the children.
Who you work for?
My name's Nick Shirley.
Who you work for?
I work for myself, Nick Shirley.
Okay. What are you recording?
We're wondering where are the children? $2.66 million for
You're not talking to
the Minnesota
right person.
Child Care Center.
You're not talking to the right person.
Are there children that come here?
If he's not talking to the right person, then why are you so angry? Why are you so angry and ornery? What is if you're not the right guy, I don't understand.
Answer
You're
the
not
question.
talking
Are
to
there
the right
children?
person. Leave.
There's no children inside this
You don't
building.
know who you're talking to. Leave.
That's just a simple question. Where are the children at? David, they won't even answer. We asked him. Plain and simple, where are the children? Do children come here?
This is why I've had my life. I've been attacked twice.
Jesus.
Once with a knife, and the other time I was jumped last Saturday by 3 Somali men.
Jesus.
Simply for asking questions about what was going on.
Well, yeah, asking questions is
And
racist.
They're very, very violent people. They do not like this fraud to be exposed.
After giving this man plenty of opportunities to answer the simple question, where are the children, he called the cops on us and we headed to the state capitol where they're having a meeting about the fraud to confront the state representatives and people in the government who have enabled and let this fraud happen. Inside of this committee, a Republican representative...
DRT is king, thank you. There's some Disney character on the wall for that one daycare center. Disney has and will sue the pants off of actual childcare centers for that kind of stuff. Maybe get the Disney lawyers on them. True. Disney lawyers will probably get rid of the fraud faster than our actual government will. Get the house mouse on that case.
Representative showed charts showing exactly how this fraud has been committed and who is profiting and connecting all the dots. And while the Democrat representatives looked into the abyss, one of them spoke about how none of this is building trust and how this is a nonpartisan issue. So I went and confronted her after that.
Yes, but I'm...
He has some very valid questions to ask about what's going on here in Minnesota. And do you think this fraud
I don't know who you
crosses...
are.
My name's Nick Shirley. Do you think this fraud is Republican or Democrat or just facts that fraud is happening?
I think the fact that
Because
you're talking about it as a partisan issue.
Well, because that's what I heard you
shows
talking
you-
about. That
I know what I said is that
because
what we're talking
we want
about
to build,
is
trust, but fraud is fraud. So why should we be enabling fraud to happen here?
no. I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to
We're
happen.
going to hold Governor Walz accountable for this.
Okay,
He's
sir.
right.
No. This
Sir,
is not.
sir.
Also, he has a newscaster voice. This guy's got a nice news voice.
We're going to hold Governor Walz. No. She is a representative for the state of Minnesota. Yes or no?
Excuse me.
Yes. Are you?
If you're gonna talk to me like
Are you
that,
the state? I'm a disability advocate.
I heard you, and
get
you got a chance
overstimulated.
to testify.
Is this white woman trying to white-splain what's happening to this beautiful black man there right now? That's kind of racist and problematic, glasses lady. Oh, I can cast your spells right back at you.
No.
Ma'am, the facts are the facts that fraud is happening here, and it's not a nonpartisan issue. How come you think fraud has been able to happen so much underneath?
I think
the
if you've
government
been
here?
listening to our hearings, we've had now 10 hearings.
Stop
on this.
having hearings and start fucking doing something if you actually are against the fraud.
And so there's really good data from the people who both work within the administration as well as who both Democrat and Republicans. I think what you heard today is that the Republicans who control this committee are not actually interested in solving fraud. What they're interested in is telling a story.
No, I would 100% believe the Republicans are not interested in solving fraud because Republicans are spineless do-nothings who continue to do fucking nothing as Democrats loot the nation. So, like, I believe her when she says that, but also, you could do something about it.
Happened underneath Democrat leader Tim
Notice
Walz.
she got rid of the black guy to talk to the white guy.
Medicaid fraud
Racist
across the
and
country
ableist.
under Democrats and Republicans. There's fraud within the Trump administration. We have is fraud. Private providers have made government a mark. And so every person running government, Democrats or Republicans, are dealing with the issue of how to keep fraudsters out of our public payment. We're also dealing with veterans. We're dealing with consumers.
What?
I hope you're looking at that. If you look at,
how did she just pivot from the Somali fraud to veterans? Like, I understand there's people taking advantage of VA benefits and getting like 100% disability when like they don't need it. And some vets are like, hey, I lost an arm and a leg and I'm only at like 40%, please help, right? Like, I get that there's fraud going on there, but that's not what we're talking about right now, lady. Stay focused.
Health
casting diversion spell.
Defrauding Medicare. You know who runs Medicare? President Trump. Medicaid
Oh
fraud is a
my
50-state
God.
issue.
How in the fuck did she manage to turn Tim Walz's government in Minnesota and Somalians committing billions of dollars in fraud into a Trump issue? What the fuck? Like, yes, there is Medicare fraud all over the place, just like there was SNAP fraud all over the place. And Trump tried doing something about the SNAP fraud. And guess what happened? All of you fucking Democrats flipped the fuck out and wouldn't let him actually address the fraud. So what are we doing here? What are we doing? If he tried to address the Medicare fraud, the same exact shit would happen.
And so, again, it is not a partisan issue. There are Democrats and Republicans who are sitting in that committee talking about it. But what you did here was the Republican chair say she's not turning information over to the one person in government who can stop payment. And I hope you print that.
I hope you print that.
Okay.
Crazy.
Well,
Is
you
this
saw what
really
happened
the
there?
state of Minnesota that we live in? And these politicians are just walking off, thinking it's okay Tuesday, and they want to go.
I like how fired up this guy is.
They want to blame the Trump administration. We have Democrats blaming ICE. I'm tired. My people are suffering.
Preach!
I'm scared for my little brother. My people are suffering, and these people just walk off. We have a governor who fucking doesn't care. True. How many more people are gonna freaking die? How many more people are gonna go homeless? And how many more people are gonna be trafficked in our freaking system?
In one day, we uncovered an estimated $111 million worth of fraud. It is time to hold corrupt politicians and fraudsters accountable. We all work too hard and pay too much in taxes for billions to be wasted. It is time to reclaim our cities from corruption and illegal fraudsters. I really hope Nick makes more of these videos, but I also hope that he gets much better security because he is going to fucking need it the more he tries to showcase this kind of stuff. And I love people like Nick getting involved in this because it just goes to show you how horrible people who claim to be journalists are when just Nick, some guy with a YouTube channel, I mean, he's got 1 million subscribers, so but in comparison to a journalist, Nick, some guy, is doing an immensely better job than anyone who actually labels themselves a journalist. Sounds like an issue that needs to be elevated to the federal level. Yeah, and we have the V-tweeter of politicians over here. Imagine seeing the colossal Somali welfare fraud in Minnesota and not realizing that Democrats have been committing election fraud on an equally staggering scale. And we've been reading articles about different election fraud stuff being uncovered still from 2020. So it's just absolutely wild. Always be active, doing nothing but LARPing online about it makes things worse. Yeah, I would like to see more action about these things. I have a couple of other posts here This is Dustin Grage posting, Minnesota DHS isn't even doing site visits for businesses taking millions in Medicare funds. Tim Walz's own inspector general said Medicaid is a trust-based system. $9 to $18 billion in fraud later, that ship has sailed. We must require frequent site visits. How in the fuck did they not have site visits?
13 with CCAP. This is where it started, but you know, there's at least an annual site visit in there. In these 14 high-risk programs right now, Jason, site visits aren't even required in many cases. We actually had a recent jury conviction get overturned by a judge here in Minnesota. And in that case, a DHS investigator stated that, well, we couldn't go investigate it to find out that this business was just simply run out of a P.O. box and was legitimate. We can't afford to do that. But for some reason, we can now afford anywhere from $8 to $19 billion in fraud, but we can't afford to do site visits. And one of the funny videos you'll see out there recently is Nick Shirley coming to Minnesota. A learning center, except the problem in this case, and this is how you know these site visits aren't actually occurring, because on the side of the building it says Learning Center. They couldn't even spell Learning Center correctly, and that just goes to show how deep the fraud is and how people are unwilling to investigate it at all. It's absurd.
It is absurd. It is absurd. And it's just, once again, it's so blatant and in your face, and the people committing this fraud, again, have every right to be as smug as they are about it. And I know some people are probably going to get mad at me for saying that, but it's the truth. If they're able to commit this level of fraud, up to $18 billion, just by saying, you're racist if you ask me questions, and so nobody asks questions, and it goes unchecked for years, they have every right to be smug, because everyone who has turned a blind eye is either complicit or just a literal fucking retard. Fallout, thank you for the 5 gift members. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I just I hate it, and it makes me angry because this fraud shouldn't be happening. And the words, you're racist, shouldn't be a magic spell to shut down all kind of discourse. And yet it has been for way too fucking long. You deserve what you tolerate and all that? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel bad for the people in Minnesota who have been trying to call this shit out. We looked at that account from other Minnesota staffers in government who have tried calling this stuff out before and have had people in Tim Walz's government retaliate against them. So even the whistleblowers who have been trying to do something about this haven't been safe in doing so. And I feel bad for those people because I can only imagine just how stuck they feel in trying to out all of this corruption. Andrew, thank you. A win is a win. Shrug. It's just also tiresome, brother mans. It's crazy. Oh, here's another tweet from that Minnesota staff people I was just talking about. I was just talking about them. We read a couple of their tweets previously when we were talking about the Somalian fraud going on. When was this posted? This was posted December 21st, just like a week ago. They said, for history, we've been notifying Tim Walz of fraud since his original term started. Retaliation was always present with Jody Harpstead, Shireen Gandhi, Gary Johnson, and others doing his dirty work. Staff were publicly shamed in meetings, escorted out of the building, reassigned from work areas. False accusations were made. Arbitrary investigations conducted, placed on extended probation with some managers requiring staff not to bring fraud up or else, and worse. All to keep staff quiet and discussion about fraud quashed. To try and break staff, too. Then came the threats to staff, where pictures of our homes, cars, asking what school or bus stop kids go to, threats of cutting off our insurance, health, dental, life, Cobra, others, off, threats to future employment opportunities, threats to expose staff to danger, threats to contact our banks to cut our mortgages off, and much, much more. Our safety was in real jeopardy, as even some staff were advised to get private safety, entering and exiting the building after evaluating DHS antics. Additionally, some staff were sexually harassed by a manager mired in fraudulent programs, and complaints made to MMB, yet it ended up being the staff forced to move or resign. Does anyone still feel safe whistleblowing? Even now, we're still nervous. The fraud committee has kept us safe, thank you to Chair Robbins and your team of 5. Whistleblowers are incredibly important and should be protected. And it's incredibly depressing just how little these people, at least from my perspective, have seemed to get any kind of help in their whistleblowing. And I'm glad, once again, people like Nick are making these YouTube videos. I'm glad that more people are taking notice, but it's taken so long and so many years, and the fraud has gotten so out of control. And things shouldn't take this long. And even when we try to do things, again, the judges are so corrupt, they just let the fraudsters go. So it just feels like this bottomless pit that you're trying to claw your way out of. And things need to absolutely change. Elon Musk demands the prosecution of Governor Tim Walz after billions in Somali fraud was exposed. Enough is enough. Walz intimidated whistleblowers and let this go on. He is criminally complicit. This thing was almost our vice president. And that shouldn't be really surprising, especially after something like Joe Biden somehow managed to get elected. Oh, I sure wonder how that happened. But Tim Walz as vice president after that would not have surprised me in any way, shape, or form. But it's still incredibly scary that that almost happened. And here's a video of Tim Walz. Infuriating. Despite the massive Somali fraud scandal, Tim Walz announces a new welfare program for Somalis and other illegals. Hey, once again, remember Melissa Hortman? How she was the only Democrat to break the ranks and vote against giving illegal immigrants in Minnesota more benefits? And then she got assassinated? Remember that? Remember when that happened?
Insurance program for you that allows you, again, to take care of what you need to take care of without being forced to choose between your family, your bonding with your child, your own health, and your economic well-being. Because in Minnesota, you can do both. And we've proved that time and time again.
Why? The taxpayer-funded family and medical leave program gives Somalis up to 20 paid weeks off per year to bond with a child. Cut off federal funds. U.S. taxpayers should not be on the hook for this bullshit. I genuinely wish that as a collective, we could get enough tens of millions of people in the U.S. to just stop paying their taxes. I wish we could do that. I wish that was a reality that we could have. Because if only a few people stop paying taxes, they're going to get prosecuted. They're going to get fucking anally rammed by the IRS. And I just, it's unrealistic and it's utopian wishful thinking to think that we could get enough people where they can't prosecute us all would come into play. And I so very much wish we could do that. I wish so fucking much. I hate seeing this shit, dude. And then, I retweeted this, but 0 Hour posted that the lady running the scam Somali daycare connected to Ilhan Omar. Job well done to Nick Sotor. Careful, you've stumbled into the hornet's nest. These people will do anything to keep the scam alive. The woman who runs it is Senator Zamzam, a dual citizen, a Somalian senator. They're funneling money through daycares into Somalia. And it's absolutely frustrating that we're getting defrauded by someone named fucking Senator Zamzam. I can't even have fun saying don't zim-zam the Zamzam, because this is a bad fucking person. And somebody responded to me, they were like, this isn't real, right? Just can't be, that's not a real person's name. So I posted part of the Wikipedia article. Zamzam Dahir Mohammed is a politician from Galmudug. In 2023, she became the first woman to be elected to the Senate of Somalia. She was elected to represent Galmudug State. Galmudug has 6 seats in the Senate, 2 of which are reserved for women, as part of a 30% parliamentary quota in Somalia. How the fuck does Somalia have DEI requirements in their parliament? What am I fucking reading? And Nick Shirley had a little funny video here. I thought this was cute.
I am the captain now.
You can't! You're a racist your way out of that one! He's the captain now! And then Donald Trump Jr. also thankfully retweeting Nick Shirley's video. Donald Trump Jr. saying, if you haven't watched this yet, watch it. All of it. Understand that this is what journalists are supposed to do, but no one in the mainstream media will even bother to look, let alone actually publish it. This is what they're doing to your country with your tax dollars. Hopefully, since people in the government are acknowledging it, something will actually fucking get done. Genuinely infuriating. And we have Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey warns that continued ICE operations in the city could lead to ICE agents getting killed. Remember that fucking bitch cunt of a woman outside that one office? And she was like, don't open up! We have ICE out here!
I am increasingly concerned because of the chaos that is being caused by these ICE agents that somebody is gonna get seriously injured or killed. Somebody is gonna get seriously injured or killed.
Who's doing the killing,
and whether
Mr.
that
Frey?
is an ICE agent or a community member, we all know the tinderbox that could explode.
Who's doing the lighting of the
we all know
tinderbox, Mayor Frey?
that the federal government is looking for reasons to deploy more and more people to Minneapolis and blue cities around the country.
What are the reasons they're
We
being
all know
deployed,
that
Mr. Frey?
we cannot afford to lose a single Minneapolis resident because they showed up and decided to protect their neighbors, because they showed up and decided to express their constitutional right to free speech. And so that concern is deep. It is held, by the way, not just by me and our residents and the people who are standing up behind
I like
me.
how he says residents and not citizens, because he's talking about the illegals who are going to get rounded up by ICE and sent fucking home like they should be.
The concern about getting somebody killed is also held by our police officers.
Yeah, I just don't believe you. Who's doing the killing, Mr. Frey? Who wants to kill the ICE agents, Mr. Frey? I am the Russian ghost. Please just let the criminals do what they want, or else they might get violent. We went from a country that doesn't negotiate with terrorists to both harboring and capitulating to everything terrorists want. We literally became the gimp cuck. It's, oh my God. And then we have the Unquirer here again. I've read some tweets from them before. Maine fraud appears officially linked to Minnesota. After the first nonprofit investigation, Republicans are calling for probes into other positions and sectors. This is likely going to range from healthcare to illegal driver licenses, politicians, etc. This is big. Janet Mills refused to respond despite the first round of investigations have proven fraud and now linking Maine to Minnesota. Remember how when we read the first Jubaland article and I realized there was a connection between the Maine and the Minnesota fraud happening and how they were funding two different sides of a civil war with American taxpayer dollars? Why isn't the CIA shutting this down, claiming their jobs are being taken? What is happening? Democrats as a whole remain tight-lipped, mouth zip. And this screenshot they posted here. A top Republican on the Maine's legislature watchdog committee said he plans to call for an investigation into interpreter fraud, following reporting from the Bangor Daily News. Senator Jeff Timberlake of Turner, who sits on the Government Oversight Committee, said he needs to study the issue more ahead of the legislature convening in January, but expects he'll file a letter asking the panel to look into the fraud within MaineCare, the state's version of Medicaid, the federal and state health care program for low-income people. The move by DHHS came a day after U.S. Rep. James Comer of Kentucky, the top Republican on the House Oversight Committee, sent a letter to the U.S. Treasury that flagged Gateway, along with a host of current and former employees, as potential targets of a broader welfare fraud investigation being conducted by the panel. Comer's letter directly tied, for the first time, Gateway to the committee's investigation that has largely been focused on Minnesota. There was no reaction from top elected Democrats on Wednesday. A spokesperson for Governor Janet Mills, who is running for U.S. Senate in 2026, did not respond to a request for comment, nor did Senator Henry Ingwerson of Arundel and Rep. Michelle Meyer of Elliott, the co-chairs of the legislative committee overseeing MaineCare. And I think another thing that's really interesting is Republicans are so well known for being spineless do-nothings who would rather chastise their own for having naughty jokes in a group chat rather than actually doing anything that helps a fellow Republican or helps any of the citizens that they preside over. The Democrats can just do all this shit and never answer any questions and continue to get away with it. They can get away with anything and everything because our Republicans are so fucking spineless and never do anything. There's no fear of any repercussion. Which is why when I see all of these people in our federal government, like fucking, what's his face? I forgot his name already. Our V-tweeter-in-chief, God, fucking Stephen Miller. Whenever I see him tweeting, I'm like, that's great, Stephen. I agree. But you're not a cartoon fox on the internet. You're in the government. You can talk to people. You can do something. So fucking do something. Oh my God.
Just do it.
Must not glow. They don't conserve anything. It's all so fucking tiresome, man. Nothing will get done with Pam Bondi at the helm. I have zero faith in Pamela Bondi. I fucking put Pamela Anderson in charge. I bet she'd do a better job. We have an Ilhan Omar's husband's $30 million firm quietly scrubs names from website as the squad member faces mounting questions on sudden wealth amid Minnesota welfare fraud. Embattled Representative Ilhan Omar's husband's venture capital firm quietly scrubbed key officer details, including former Obama officials, as scrutiny grows over the family's skyrocketing wealth, the Post has learned. Omar, Democrat, Minnesota, went from nearly broke to being worth up to $30 million in just 1 year, as a massive up to $9 billion fraud scheme involving the Somali community in her district unfolded right under her nose in Minnesota. Close to 90 people have been charged so far, including at least 3 with direct ties to the lefty squad member, though she herself has not been charged. It was Somalia-born Omar who was seen in a resurfaced video last month dishing out food in a restaurant, now at the heart of the scandal, who introduced the legislation critics say paved the way for what the feds have called the largest fraud of the pandemic. The Jimmy Choo-wearing socialist introduced the Meals Act in Congress in 2020, relaxing oversight of government-sponsored children's meals programs during the pandemic, which critics say allowed fraudsters to claim they served millions of meals without verification, while pocketing millions of dollars in government subsidies. And remember, we watched a video where she told a newscaster questioning her about this that the only reason there was fraud was because the program was set up too quickly, and so guardrails were not able to be put in place to prevent this fraud.
Flashback. I think what happened is that, you know, when you have these kind of new programs that are designed to help people, you're oftentimes relying on third parties to be able to facilitate. And I just think that a lot of the COVID programs that were set up, they were set up so quickly that a lot of the guardrails did not get created.
Can you shed any...
It was your fault for making the systems too easy to take advantage of. It's not the Somalians' fault for doping you. Like I said, it's an incompatible cultural value.
End of flashback.
Shortly after the scheme played out, Omar's husband, political consultant Tim Minott, launched Rose Lake Capital in 2022, a venture capital management firm. The company saw its reported value go from nearly zero in 2023 to between $5 million and $25 million in just a year, and somehow claims to having already amassed $60 billion. $60 billion in assets under management, an amount many money managers on Wall Street only dream of. My brain had to reset for a second there. Jesus fuck. There's a lot of strange things going on, said Paul Kamenar, counsel to the National Legal and Policy Center. She was basically broke when she came into office, and now she's worth perhaps up to $30 million. She needs to come clean on those assets. I think every politician who goes into any sort of political role and then comes out vastly wealthier than when they came in needs to be investigated. Not saying all of them are fraudulent, not saying all of it is insider trading, but they should all be investigated if there's that much. And you know what's even funnier? When Trump became president, he decided to give up his presidential salary. He did not take salary for being a president. And a lot of people, for some reason, got mad about that. And it's like, I have far more respect for a politician, especially if they're already rich, saying, yeah, I don't need this money, so I'm not gonna take it. Like, if a rich person goes into politics, they don't really need the money. And so there's respect there for him just being like, yeah, I don't need that. It's the same with like when Asmongold was just like, yeah, I didn't have my channel monetized because I don't need the money. It's the same when Moist Critical goes, you know, I don't really need people to subscribe to me. I don't really need the money. It's great when people who have like an amazing amount of wealth are just like, I'm gonna do something else with this. Either just don't give it to me or I'm gonna give it to a charity or something, you know? It's an amazing thing to see. Rose Lake Capital, which touts its deep global networks built from the on-the-ground work in more than 80 countries, had less than $1,000 in assets in 2023, according to Omar's financial disclosure. Yet despite the reported windfall, the business's only address is a WeWork in DC, according to its LinkedIn page. Between September and October, when federal prosecutors announced charges to 8 more individuals, including 6 of Somali descent, for their roles in the welfare scheme, the names and bios of Rose Lake Capital's 9 officers and advisors were removed from the website. None of them were charged in the fraud. See, I don't like that. You shouldn't be able to obscure people who are implicated in this. These names include lobbyist and former Obama ambassador to Bahrain, Adam Iralai, former senator and Obama ambassador to China, Max Baucus, DNC finance chair associate Alex Hoffman, former DNC treasurer William Darrow, and former ex-CEO of Amalgamated Bank Keith Miestrich, who once described Amalgamated as the institutional bank of the Democratic Party. Can I make a joke about Amalgamate, the VTuber? Is she secretly an asset for fraud? we gotta glow harder. Alex Jones tier glow, baby. That's a joke. I'm joking. Meanwhile, Minet's other business, a California winery that previously faced fraud allegations and was declared a failed venture in 2023, was suddenly worth between $1 million and $5 million in 2024, a windfall of 9,900%. Literal insanity going on. She's acting too based. You do wonder if she glows. She's rated me a few times, so I feel like it's okay if I make that joke. Amalgamate secret Dem asset. I'd make another Oy vey shut it down joke, but they already restricted my fucking Twitter post when I said that. It's like, I can't even remember what my post was, but somebody was like calling me some sort of Mossad asset. And then Mia, the Argentinian political lady, Mia, she responded saying that she was like my Mossad handler. And I said, Oy vey shut it down. And then both of us got our tweets restricted. As he fraudulently misrepresented that Est Crew LLC was a legitimate company. Minet claimed he simply struggled to build a business during the pandemic. The case settled out of court in November. See, I don't like that. I don't like that some fraud cases can get settled out of court. There should be criminal penalties here. The winery, Est Crew, at some point around 2022, promoted a line of wines with names like Blockchain and The Devil's Lie, with a prestigious California winemaker who said she abruptly stopped getting paid in early 2023. The business was only worth between $15,000 and $50,000, $15,000 and $50,000 in Omar's financial disclosure that year, making the sudden windfall the next year even more puzzling. It too is listed as operating out of a WeWork and doesn't appear to actually sell any wines anymore, according to extensive internet searches. Despite the high worth placed on the business, its website is a broken link. The phone number is disconnected, and the last social media post for the winery dates back to 2023. I remember trying to find like an auto repair place one time, and I went to a couple of like local auto repair places, and the doors were unlocked. There were no lights on. Offices were empty. Parking lots were empty. I was like, this is fucking weird. This is creepy. While working families were being ripped off by a massive welfare scam, Omar's campaign took money from convicted fraudsters. Her husband launched a firm that suddenly ballooned in value, and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz looked the other way. Slammed Kristen Pell, spokesperson for the Republican National Committee. When she first took office in 2019, the left-wing squad member declared a net worth between negative $25,000 and negative $65,000, claimed to own no assets and only carrying student and car debt. Now, Omar's assets have suddenly skyrocketed to anywhere between $6 million to $30 million, according to her latest financial disclosure, just months after the Congresswoman dismissed claims she was a millionaire as ridiculous and categorically false. Wow, a socialist is lying. It must be a day ending in Y. Her links to the Minnesota welfare scheme have started to come to light in recent weeks. Her campaign received $7,400 in direct donations from at least 3 now convicted fraudsters, though the squad member defended that she returned the donations after the scandal broke. I just don't believe her. She's been closely linked to at least 2 individuals from Minnesota's Somalian community who have been charged in the fraud. One is Salim Ahmed Saeed, the co-owner of Safari Restaurant, where Omar held her 2018 congressional victory party. Saeed was found guilty in August of stealing more than $12 million for serving 3.9 million phantom meals during the COVID-19 pandemic, blowing much of the money on a $2 million Minneapolis mansion and a $9,000 a month shopping habit at Nordstrom, according to prosecutors. Does Ilhan Omar know these people? Are they from her wonderfully managed home country of Somalia? President Trump posted on his Truth Social platform when the news of the charges first broke. Somali gangs are terrorizing the people of that great state, and billions of dollars are missing. Send them back to where they came from. And it's like, I wish he could just send in ICE and send in the guard and just clean the fucking shit up in Minneapolis, dude. But I know if he tried to do that, there would be lunatic leftists who would attack the ICE officers, like what happened in Chicago, who would attack the National Guard members, like what happened to the two in DC, where one got murdered and the other one thankfully survived. There would be all these lunatics who would start doing this shit. And there would be tons of people running defense and claiming that Trump is some kind of dictator a la Hitler for attempting to do this. So again, this is why people like Nick are so important, to get this kind of word out, to make sure people know what's happening and that Trump would be doing a wonderfully good thing by going in here and helping the actual citizens. As the scam was underway in 2020, Omar even appeared on video at Minneapolis' Safari Restaurant to praise the program. Every day, Safari provides 2,300 meals to children and their families, she boasted in Somali in the video, while being filmed handing trays of food in a parking lot with her pandemic-era face mask pulled down below her nose. The other individual, Guhad Hashi Saeed, worked on Omar's campaign in 2018 and 2020, and pleaded guilty in August to running a fake food site called Advanced Youth Athletic Development, where he falsely claimed to serve 5,000 meals a day and pocketed $3.2 million out of the food program. On Capitol Hill last week, Omar said she had no regrets about introducing the Meals Act. Absolutely not. It did help feed kids. Well, actually, it didn't. It didn't help feed any kids. It helped line the pockets of Somalians, so this once again makes me feel like you not only knew it was going on, but you were receiving money from it. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, Kamala Harris's former running mate, has also faced intense scrutiny for letting the scandal unfold under his watch. Education Secretary Linda McMahon wrote a letter calling for him to resign, and Representative Tom Emmer hinted at possible criminal charges. There better be criminal charges. I don't think there will be, I have no faith, but I would fucking love there to be. Ilhan Omar is as disingenuous as they come, he told the Post Saturday. She promotes socialist policies while cashing in a taxpayer-funded paycheck and sitting on tens of millions of dollars. At least now we have an explanation for why she's so out of touch with priorities of hardworking, everyday Minnesotans. The Treasury and Justice Department has already launched an investigation into the alleged money laundering, and when reached for comment, Omar's communication director sent the Post a message saying the entire office was closed until January 5th. Without offering an alternative contact. MyNet did not return the Post messages, and both business numbers were not working. The more you look at it, the worse it fucking gets, buddy. The worse it fucking gets. And once again, we have Ilhan Omar with that Senator fucking Zam here as well. How much? How deep does it go, brother mans? How deep does it go?